All right, guys. So I was watching some of the late left-wing reactions to the viral Charlamagne the Devil and Kamala Harris interview that aired a few nights ago, in which, in my opinion, Kamala Harris put Charlamagne in his place. Now, the left-wing reactions that I was saying, I was surprised because a lot of these people were giving Charlamagne Tha God credit, right? They was giving him props for asking Kamala tough questions. However, I'm just like, why are you giving him props when at the end of the interview, the dude just folded, right? He folded. He let Kamala talk down to him. He let the least popular politician and least popular vice president in history punk him on national TV, made him look like a little boy. So while the progressive media is praising Charlamagne for doing the bare minimum, in my opinion, I was just sitting here thinking, like, that interview is really a representation of black people's relationship with the Democrat Party, right? It's almost like black people have Stockholm syndrome when it comes to our relationship with the Democrat Party, right? No matter how bad the Democrats treat black folks, right, either through policies or failed broken promises, we continue to go back to them over and over and over again, expecting a different result. And I want to have a deeper conversation than I did in my initial reaction to this, interview between Kamala and Charlamagne, because I found some clips of Charlamagne and the things that he was talking about last year during election cycle that really just disgusted me, right? And I'm going to tell you guys why. But first, I want to go ahead and play one clip in particular that really, really, really shows, in my opinion, why Democrats never, ever, ever execute on any of their promises to black folks, and why black people are just behind the 8 ball politically. Take a look.
So when they put all those police in our neighborhood and they hit us with those harsh sentences for whether it's the 94 crime bill, the 88 crack laws, they can justify that shit based off this is where all the trouble is at. This is where all the problems is at. You seen Joe Biden stand on the Senate floor and say that verbatim. He was like, I don't care about the conditions that cause these predators to become predators. We need to fix this shit now, because if we don't, they're going to end up killing our moms and our fathers and our brothers and our sisters.
Is Joe Biden good?
Nah, it's tough.
I got questions.
Man. I think he's a good guy with bad shit on him.
Man,
what?
He got some bad shit on him.
I say it all the time. Joe Biden has done worse things to black people than Donald Trump ever has.
For real?
Hell yeah, man. The 88 crack laws?
Educate me.
He did the
88 crack laws with Strom Thurmond. Strom Thurmond was a motherfucking racial segregationist from South Carolina.
Who was he down with? Was he down?
He was
Barack's vice president.
Barack's vice president.
Did the 88 crack laws.
Plot thickens.
Think about it. 88 crack laws. Everybody know crack was in the black community more than anywhere.
Because they put it there.
Yeah.
They dropped it off special delivery.
So 88 crack laws that gave you more time for crack than it did powder cocaine, that was systemically done because they knew who was running around with the 20s of rocks in their pockets.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then you fast forward 6 years later, the 94 crime bill that he called the Biden bill.
Now what's the 94
Joe
crime?
Biden's not a good
The
guy.
94 crime bill was what they were so mad about Hillary over, and Hillary wasn't even in the administration when that shit went down. You know what I'm saying? She was just the first lady. She was just Bill Clinton's old lady. But the 94 crime bill basically is what they say started mass incarceration. You know what I'm saying? It just gave out all of these harsh sentences to black people.
What year was that?
94.
94.
Yeah.
My dad did 29 years. And he came home, like in the middle of that, he came home one time and about 14 years then he came home. And he just went right back in. But his whole generation's in jail.
And listen, we all make mistakes, but he will not even say that it was a mistake. You ask him now, he'll say the 94 crime bill didn't cause mass incarceration.
So
All right, guys, so you seen that, you heard that. Now, this interview with Charlamagne Tha God, T.I., and this other guy, I don't really know his name, but it took place April of 2020, right after when it became clear that Joe Biden would be the Democrat nominee. And they're talking about Joe Biden. Is Joe Biden good? And Charlamagne goes on this tangent and gives a list of reasons and things that Biden has done that he believes hurts black people. He talked about the crack laws. He talked about the crime bill. Okay, he talked about the things that Biden has said on the Senate floor in reference to black folks. And then he says Joe Biden has done worse things to black people than Donald Trump ever has. So I'm sitting here thinking, like, when I saw this clip, How the hell do you go from that to voting for Joe Biden, right? How do you go from that to voting for the man that you literally just said that he's done worse things to black people than Trump has ever done? Again, make it make sense, right? Make it make sense. Now, Charlamagne is supposed to be one of these pro-black dudes in which, he votes for whoever's going to be best for black people, right? That's the way he claimed he votes. Now, later on in the year, he's actually going to explain why he voted for Joe Biden, even though he knows and can clearly articulate why Joe Biden has been worse for black people than Trump ever has. Take a look.
I think, when it comes to those black people you see who may be, showing support for Trump, I just think, it's because Trump is actually talking to young black male voters. He's directing ads towards them. They are a group that, never get courted. I mean, black people don't get courted either as a whole, but that old Democratic regime speaks to old black men, and they think everyone else in the black community, the black family, is just supposed to fall in line. They know black women are going to show up regardless, and they, like I said, they speak to older black men, and they think the rest of us all speak the same language. So Trump is targeting young black males, and promo and marketing, it works.
For marketing. Okay, just real quick, because I have a couple more things I want to talk to you, if you can give me a quick answer. Do you think that Kamala Harris on the ticket, do you think Senator Harris, does that help with black men and women?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when we were pushing for, Joe Biden to pick a black woman as his VP, Senator Harris was who I had in mind, and I'm voting for Kamala Harris. I'll tell you that in a heartbeat. I'm not necessarily voting for Joe Biden. I'm voting for Senator Kamala Harris.
Well, you got your, don't you have your voting, your ballot right there?
I do, actually. I showed you this before we got on, but I do.
You just showed me the envelope, but I don't know what's in there.
Listen, I'm voting for Senator Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
I believe Kamala's a political change agent. I think she's exactly the leader this country needs to lead us in the future. If she's not, then I'll just be wrong. Because I'm going to be honest with you, Don. I'm just so tired of old white male leadership in politics. And I can't speak for all black Americans. Black Americans aren't monolithic. I'm only speaking for me. And, to me, I'm just sick of that. I'm tired of old white male leadership in government. Trump wants to make America great again. Biden wants to build back better. As a black man, I don't want to do none of that because we know America has never been great for everyone. And when we talk about building back better, it's like saying we are trying to return things to normal, but America's normal hasn't worked for black people.
Amazing. Amazing. Okay, see, this is why I truly believe that Democrat leadership actually believe that black people are dumb. Right? They believe that black people are stupid. Okay? I'm so serious. I believe that Democrat leadership believes that. And I really don't blame them. And the reason why is exactly what you just saw there from Charlamagne Tha God. Okay? He says, I don't like white male leadership. I'm sick and tired of white male leadership. As if that has anything to do with policies at all. Nothing to do with actual policies, right? Even though he just cited a whole bunch of policies that he didn't like from Joe Biden, right? Earlier that year, okay? He says, I'm voting for Kamala Harris, right? And the reason why he's voting for Kamala Harris is because she is half black, aka half Jamaican, okay? Half Jamaican. And again, this is why the Democrats never execute on any promises. This is why they always take the black vote for granted. This is why he gets disrespected all the time, even if it comes from Joe Biden himself in regards to saying that you ain't black if you don't vote for me, or Kamala checking him on national TV when he decides to ask her a real question. You know why that happens? Because they know at the end of the day, we didn't have to do anything to really earn your vote. You're supposed to vote for us by default. So if you start talking tough to me, you talking like a Republican, okay? Black folks ain't supposed to be Republicans. You're a Democrat. You were born a Democrat. You had Democrats stamped on your ass when you came out the womb, right? That's the way they think. And people like Charlamagne Tha God know for a fact that Democrat policies have been bad for black folks, right? Or at least he believes that, okay? And I showed you guys the clip. And he went out there and voted for him anyways. And I think it's even worse considering how Trump, say what you want about him, he at least listened. Okay, Democrats won't even listen. Trump passed the First Step Act, which both sides of the aisle agree is like landmark prison reform, right? In regards to, trying to undo some of the things that Biden did back in the 90s, especially in regards to nonviolent drug offenders. Everybody was like, oh no, yeah, this is good. Okay. He did that. He did opportunity zones. He offered the so-called platinum plan for Black America, which in my opinion, I think was his way of trying to actually market an infrastructure plan. I would have loved to see the Democrats try to vote against that, right? Find a reason to say no to that. He actually offered a real plan, right? He actually offered to sit down with Ice Cube and to discuss what the issues were and to see how they could possibly work together. During that same time period, Democrats told Ice Cube, go away. We don't want to hear anything you got to say. Because, again, they had no interest in actually executing on any of their promises. And they honestly really don't care about the black vote because it's already guaranteed for them. And again, people like Charlamagne Tha God, who knows, that the Democrats don't give a damn about you and that there have been policies that have been bad policies that the Democrats have passed for black folks. But you still voted for them. And you voted for them because all the Democrats had to do is say, here's a black woman, right? Vote for us. Here's a black woman. That's all they had to do. That's all they had to do. And again, this same black woman, the next year, after being in the White House, after not executing on any of those promises that they made to black folks, right? Whether it's police reform, whether it's student loan stuff. And again, I don't even agree with all that stuff. But I'm just saying, if they made the promise and if they don't execute on it, I don't blame their constituents, the people they made promises to, for holding them accountable. But again, a year later, this same black woman that you voted for simply because she was black, she's checking you, embarrassing you on national TV because you dare ask her about why she's not executing on the promises that she promised you guys. Again, this is why black folks are behind the 8 ball politically. Every other group in this country got it figured out. You don't vote for no political party at 90+%, right? And expect to get anything out of it. Why would you ever get anything out of it? White folks don't do that. Hispanics don't do that. Asians don't do that. Nobody does that. Nobody does that except black folks. But yet you got black folks every single election season always complaining about why Democrats don't ever execute their promises. Why they always breaking their promises. Why we don't never get anything. Well, the reason why you never get anything, because like Malcolm X said, we vote like chumps, right? I'm just saying, real talk. You cannot pledge allegiance to a party, a political party, especially in a 2-party system, and expect them to actually give a damn about doing anything for you or executing on their promises, knowing that they're going to get your vote no matter what. All they got to do is come out here and present to you, here's a woman of color, right? Vote for her. Or to say, oh, well, those Republicans, they're racist. You don't want to vote for them. And no other group falls for that except blacks. We're the only group that falls for it. Again, this is why we are behind. This is why you can't get ahead. And again, that's not to say that Republicans actually really care all that much about black people. I'm not saying they do. But if you want them to care, if you want any political party to care, your vote should not be guaranteed, period. Right? Your vote shouldn't be guaranteed. Black folks, come midterms, come 2024, if you're smart, you should say, hey, Democrats, y'all didn't execute on any of these promises, okay? Y'all won't even compromise with Tim Scott. Again, I'm not saying I agree with all this stuff. I'm just saying we're all voting Republican, right? We're going to vote Republican, okay? And then at that point, maybe the Republicans might say, hey, you know what? Maybe we should work a little bit harder for, black people, right? Maybe we should work a little bit harder. It's nice kind of getting their vote. Maybe Democrats might say, maybe we should stop making these promises to black folks that we know we can't keep, right? Maybe we should actually start executing on some of these things and actually being accountable. But with that being said, I do want to make it clear. I mean, at an individual level, nobody should be depending on a political party, right? You should depend on yourself. You should be more individualistic, which tends to align more with conservative/Republican ideology and policies. Which that's why, that's where I align, okay? Because I'm more of an individualistic type of person. When I go and vote, I'm voting for the government to get out of the way, right? I want the government to get out of the way, okay? That's what I'm voting for. I want lower taxes. I want to keep more of my own money. And that's why I go out there and I vote. And I also don't want the cultural fabric of this country to fall to wokeness. And again, it's not the ideal situation because it's a 2-party system. It's an either or thing. And if you don't vote, again, you're still kind of screwed because you only got 2 options, right? So, like I said, man, again, my point is this. This is why, right? Charlamagne, this whole thing with Kamala, it just reminded me why black folks cannot get ahead politically and why Democrats continue to disrespect black people year after year after year, but black people continue to vote for them because for whatever reason, we have some black folks that are just stuck in this mindset where they have to vote Democrat no matter what. And again, it's just one of those things where it's embarrassing, man. It really is. Charlamagne should be embarrassed as a man to let himself get punked by Kamala Harris on national TV simply because he asked a legitimate question. To kiss her feet, to kiss her ring, the most unpopular politician in the country, after all that, after she refused to answer a question, again, it's embarrassing. It's pathetic. It really is. Again, it just shows you why is it black people can't get ahead, specifically when it comes to politics. I mean, listen, I really do wish that just for one election cycle, just black folks, all black folks just vote Republican and see what happens, right? See what happens. I think things might be a little bit different from both parties, right? In regards to how, seriously, they take black people in the black vote. I think you might start getting a little bit better treatment, right? They might start treating us like the Hispanics, right? But until then, hey, this is what you should expect. Broken promises and disrespect. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a black conservative perspective. Peace.